Hi everyone, Bree and JP back again for video number 2 on how to perfect your oral argument skills. In this video, we're just going to talk about general tips that will apply to throughout your entire oral argument.
The first thing that we'd like to emphasize is when you are going up there to speak to the justices, remember that this is a discussion and not a lecture. You are having a conversation with the justices. They have read these briefs. They know them through and through. Really, they're there to understand your argument better and basically to get the nuances of it figured out. So don't think that you're there to teach them something or to lecture them, but be there to clarify so that they can appropriately apply the law. Furthermore, it's important that when you're up there giving your presentation that you actually stop when a question is addressed and immediately stop. Don't finish what you're saying as soon as the justice basically says, excuse me, counselor, just immediately go quiet. Furthermore, you can begin to kind of tell when they're going to ask a question. They'll usually draw in a breath, or they'll, ask a question right about in a break in your speech pattern. So just be cognizant of both of those things.
A few other tips would be to make sure that you speak very slowly. And this is something that's really important to practice because it is a problem for almost everyone. Once you get up there, even if you think that you're speaking slowly, you'll get nervous, you'll start to talk faster as the argument goes along. So practice, especially practice, doing your introduction and your roadmap very slowly and setting that tone and pace for the whole argument. Another thing to be cognizant of is what you're doing with your hands, your head, your feet. It can be a little awkward when you're standing up there. You have 3 people staring at you. Just make sure the best thing to do is to plant your feet, to place your hands on either side of the podium and just leave them there unless you really have a great point to make. And if you're going to use hand gestures, use them with a purpose. Don't just wave your hands around.
Furthermore, it is very important also to maintain eye contact with the judges because that always is a sign of confidence, and it also makes them believe that you are paying attention to them. Furthermore, when you're answering a question, answer them with a yes or a no response, meaning don't get up there and they ask you a question and say, well, maybe, maybe not, Your Honor. Answer it with a yes or no, and then you can follow up with, but however, and kind of qualify or expand upon that point. So for instance, if a justice asks, well, do you really think that off-campus speech should be punished by schools? You can respond with, yes, Your Honor, however, that speech needs to be offensive enough. So that would be an example of basically a good outline of how to answer a question. Lastly, it's important to know the standard review that you're arguing for, whether it's de novo or an abuse of discretion or whatever. The justices like knowing which standard review is appropriate to apply.
And also just remember that some of the questions that you get, they're not going to be trying to trip you up. Sometimes the justice will give you even what they call softball questions because maybe they agree with your point and they just want you to clarify something, or maybe there's something they wish that you would have argued that you hadn't.
Yeah.
So watch out for those questions where they're actually agreeing with your point. Those should be fairly easy for you to answer and a chance for you to jump on that and make a really good point about your argument. But a lot of the questions will also be argumentative, trying to maybe get you to concede something or having you say, no, this is my argument on your side.
Bye.